Blizzard have brought back the impressive influence buff once more for about a month, so I wanted to make a video talking about the various mounts you can get making use of this buff, and if you did make use of it fuller and you have a bit of gold, then you could end up with 31 mounts total. Now, most of you aren't going to have the gold to be able to buy them all, but either way you should be able to increase your mount collection over this month. Now, one thing I won't be doing is running through how to unlock these various bits of content, for example 8.3 content, because it'll just weigh the video down a little bit too much. But what I will do is in the description down below, I'll provide links to the various kind of quest chains, videos that will lead you through those quest chains and get them unlocked for you if you are returning to the game. So if you're not familiar with what this reputation buff does, it's going to give you 100% reputation gain with various Legion and BFA factions. It covers the vast majority of them. There's just some kind of odd ones that are left out. So we're going to look at the Legion reps first of all, and we're going to look at the base Legion factions. And those are going to be the Court of Ferundus, which if you get Court of Ferundus to Exalted, you'll then unlock the ability to get Paragon caches, which are to get an additional 10k rep past Exalted. That'll give you a Paragon cache. And those are repeatable every time you get 10k rep. Opening the Paragon cache with the Court will have a chance of giving you the Cloudwing Hippogriff on a pretty low drop chance. In terms of getting reputation with this faction, you want to do the world quests found in Azuna. Those are going to give you rep towards the Court, and also any yellow quests you've got within the zone 2 that you've not done, especially the story stuff, worth doing because that's going to give you a good chunk of rep. On top of that, if an emissary cache comes up for the Court, definitely worth doing because that's going to give you about 3k rep. And then do keep in mind as well, Kirin Tor is kind of a wild card, and you can pick a rep token for any faction you want. So keep doing those, and you'll have a chance of getting yourself that Cloudwing Hippogriff. Next up is going to be the Dreamweavers, exactly the same as the Court. Do world quests within the Val'sharah, and you'll have a chance of getting the Wild Dream Runner from their Paragon cache, which I believe is going to become a flying mount in pre-patch or in Shadowlands. Currently a ground-only mount, so worth noting as well. Next up we have High Mountain Tribe, and those are going to give you same deal, do quests within High Mountain and you'll get rep towards High Mountain Tauren, and if you get the Paragon cache you have a chance of getting the High Mountain Elderhorn. On top of that though, with this faction, if you're Horde, you'll also unlock the ability to get the High Mountain Tauren as an allied race once you hit Exalted, and if you do the quest line for the High Mountain Tauren, you will also get their faction race mount 2 added to your collection. Next up is going to be the Nightfallen. Very similar deal with the other ones we've mentioned. Just do the world quests within Suramar. You'll get rep towards Nightfallen, and that Paragon cache can give you the Ley Woven Flying Carpet. On top of that, if you get them to Exalted and your Horde, you'll also unlock the ability to get the Nightborn as an allied race. The final one up of these ones is going to be the Valajar, and you'll once again do world quests within Stormheim for these guys. Get yourself the Paragon cache, and you'll get yourself a chance of getting the Valajar Stormwing, which is, in my opinion, the better looking of these kind of Paragon mounts. Really, really cool, so one I would definitely go after, but I've already got it, ha! The next Legion ones up we're going to talk about are found in Argus. If you don't remember how to get to Argus, you'll find the portal on the Crassus Landing that'll take you there. If you've never been before, then you'll need to complete a quest line, which I'll have a link for in the description below. Once at Argus, if you've not done the main story there, I would recommend going through that. Once you're done with all of that and you've unlocked the 3 zones with the world quests, then the first thing we're going to look at is the Army of the Light. They're going to give you a few things. First of all, if you get them to Exalted, you'll unlock the ability to do Paragon caches, and if you get a Paragon cache, you have a chance of getting one of 3 mounts. That is the Avenging Fellcrusher, the Blessed Fellcrusher, or the Glorious Fellcrusher. You could get one in there, or you can actually get all 3 at once if you're extremely lucky. So this is a really good value one to go after. Not only that though, the world quests in Argus give really, really good reputation, especially if you target the ones where it's like kill X elite. Those will give you about 800 rep with this buff, and they also give 800 rep for the Argusian Reach as well, which is a different faction in Argus and one that we'll need for some more mounts too. So those are really, really good value. So you'll be pumping out the Paragon caches if you make use of the Argus world quest during this buff. Once you are Exalted as well, you'll be able to purchase a mount from their Quartermaster, which is the Lightforge Warframe, and that's going to cost you about 500k. Nice cheap price of about 500k. So if you've got gold to spare, you could buy this, but I'd imagine most of you aren't going to be able to afford it. And then finally from this faction, really, really good value is if you're an Alliance player, getting them to Exalted will unlock the ability to get the Lightforged Draenei as an allied race, which once you go through their quest line and unlock them, will give you their race mount as well. So really worth doing. The other faction within Argus is going to be the Argusian Reach, and getting these guys to Exalted will allow you to purchase 6 different Rune Striders from their Quartermaster. These are going to cost about 8k each, so very affordable, and 6 mounts you can very quickly add to your collection. This should only take a few days to get these guys to Exalted. As I said, those world quests are going to be giving you a large amount of experience, or reputation I should say, so definitely worth knocking those out as quickly as possible. And also, if you are Alliance, get Argusian Reach to Exalted, then you'll unlock the requirements to get the Void Elf as an allied race, and then you'll be able to go through their quest line and unlock them and get their race mount as well. Now moving on to BFA, and first of all we're going to look at the base factions for Horde, and then we'll do Alliance. So first up we have the Zandalari Empire, which is going to be doing world quests within Zuldazar if you're level 120. And if you have no world quests, or you haven't done this already, I would recommend going through the main story quest, the yellow quest within the Zone 2. You'll get a good amount of reputation from doing those, and get yourself to Exalted. And you can also do the emissaries as well if they pop up. Going to be giving you a good like 3k rep too, so definitely worth doing all of those. And once you get yourself to Exalted, there will be a vendor within the Desire Law who will sell you the Cobalt Pterodax for 10k and the Spectral Terror Wing for 75k, so you're going to be able to purchase yourself 2 mounts if you have the gold. Moving on to Nazmir, you'll have the Talangi's Expedition, exactly the same as Zandalari Empire. Do the world quests, do the emissaries, and do the yellow quests. And then at Exalted, you'll be able to pick yourself up the Expedition Blood Swarmer for 10k, or the Captured Swamp Stalker for 75k. Then finally we'll have the Vol'dun rep, which is going to be the Vol'dunai, and get those guys to Exalted, same method. Exalted, you'll be able to purchase yourself the Alabaster Hyena for 10k and the Vol'dunai Dune Scraper for 75k. On top of that, getting yourself to Exalted with the Vol'dunai will unlock the ability to get the Vulperian as a allied race for Horde only, and then you'll be able to get yourself their race Hyena mount too. So now moving on to the Alliance variants of the ones that we just talked about. Going to work exactly the same. You'll do the world quests in the various zones, do the yellow quests if you haven't done them already, especially when you have no world quests. And the first one up is going to be the Proudmoore Admiralty, which is in Tiragard Sound, and getting them to Exalted will allow you to purchase the Stallion for 10k or the Proudmoore Sea Scout for 75k. The next zone is going to be Drustvar, where you can get Exalted with the Order of Embers. At Exalted, you'll be able to purchase the Smoky Charger for 10k and the Dusky Waycrest Griffin for 75k. And then finally we have the Stormsong Valley, which is going to be the Storm's Wake. Get those guys to Exalted and you'll be able to purchase the Dapple Grey for 10k and the Stormsong Coast Watcher for 75k. Next up, we're going to be moving on to the stuff in Nazjatar, and for Horde that's going to be the Unshackled, for Alliance that's going to be the Waveblade and Cohen, and a lot of this crosses over like a lot of the rep methods, etc. If you don't know how to get to Nazjatar and get it unlocked, once again there will be a video down below. In terms of what you can get, if you get to Exalted, then you'll unlock the ability to get Paragon Caches, and from the Paragon Caches for either of these factions could be the Royal Snapdragon, once again on a fairly low drop chance. Also at Exalted, if you're Exalted with the Ankoan, you'll be able to purchase the Ankoan Wave Ray for 250 Mana Pearls, or if you're with the Unshackled, your Horde, you'll be able to get the Unshackled Wave Ray for 250 Mana Pearls as well. In terms of getting rep with this faction, there's actually a lot more methods than the other places. You're going to be able to get rep pretty damn quick with these guys. You'll be able to do the Mardiva's Laboratory, which is kind of like a summonable boss each week. That's going to give you 1k with the rep boost. You're going to be able to do pet battles across the zone. These are going to give you 500 rep per pet battle you do. You're going to be able to do emissaries if they come up. They're going to give you 3k. You have the world quests to do. Those are going to give you a few hundred. You can have the dailies to do. Those are going to give you a few hundred as well. You also have the Battle for Nazjatar, which is like a PvP event that'll pop up. That'll give you about 1,000 rep. And then there's a ton of little small things as well. So getting rep with these factions actually really isn't too bad. So with the rep boost as well, you're going to get these guys to Revered and Exalted fairly quickly. The next faction up is going to be a shared one, and that is going to be the Rustbolt Resistance. The way you get there is a little bit different for Horde and Alliance. Once again, link in the description down below. And at Exalted, you'll be able to purchase the Rustbolt Resistor for 520k. So pretty damn expensive, but once again, if you have the gold to spare. Also, if you're Alliance and you get Exalted with the Rustbolt Resistance, you will unlock the ability to get the Mechanomes, and that'll give you access to getting their Mechano Strider mount as well if you unlock that faction, or that race I should say. In terms of getting rep with the Rustbolt resistance, you're going to be getting about 1.7k rep from the daily world quest. This is one world quest you can do every day. Its objective varies from killing rares or looting boxes, fairly quick to do, and that's going to give you 1.7k, so you could probably just do that every day and you'll eventually get to Exalted. But if you want to do everything you could, then there is also the fishing. You can fish up and do the hand-ins with the fishing rares. You could do the normal world quests, which are going to be giving you about 140 to 300 rep per as well. There is also a few other things like killing the rares your first time will give you a little bit of rep. There is pet battles to do here too that can do hand-ins. Not quite as good as Nazjatar, but still not too bad either. There is also crafting items that you can get from certain rares. You'll get a blueprint, you'll make the item, and it'll be able to turn into a quest that you hand in for a good chunk of rep. So overall, not too bad. Not quite as quick as Nazjatar, but not too bad either, especially if you just did the world quest each day, then you'd be getting a high amount of rep for low effort. So if you're not really too interested in doing this, that's probably the best way of going about it. The next thing to mention is getting your Battle for Azeroth Pathfinder achievements done. These will allow you to fly in Battle for Azeroth now and in the future as well, and on top of that you'll be awarded with the Wonderwing 2.0 mount. And most of this stuff is pretty trivial. It's exploration and doing like the war campaign. The bit that's a bit more long and tedious is the reputation side of it. It requires you to get to at least revered with all of the factions in BFA. So that includes the ones that we've talked about, but there's a few others as well, like your factions one, which is the Honor Bound for Horde, and not too sure what it is for Alliance, 7th Legion maybe? And then you have like the Tortolans and stuff on top, so it's a lot of reputation grinding to be done. But you get all of that done, get all of the achievements ticked off, like the exploration, the quest lines, the rep, and you will be able to fly in BFA, which is going to be nice for the future. The final faction to talk about that gives a mount that is influenced by this bonus is the Uldum Accord, which is a part of the latest 8.3 content. So to get that unlocked, you will need to do the bit of the prerequisite stuff, which it'll take you a little bit of time, but link in the description down below for the video for that. And to get reputation with these guys, you want to be doing the daily quests every day. These will pop up in the hubs. You'll see them marked on the map. And then there'll be these kind of like little bonus objectives you'll find scattered across the assault area. That'll be the area kind of outlined by the purple. And then you want to be doing the main assault itself. This will either swap every 7 days or every 3.5 days, depending on which one is active. Fill up the bar, finish the final objective, hand that in, and you're going to get a large chunk of reputation. So definitely a good time to be getting this done now. And once you do hit Exalted, you'll be able to purchase the Waste Wonder Sky Terror from their Quartermaster for about 20k. Now the last thing I wanted to mention, I did leave it for last just so it makes more sense, is the contracts. These are things that you can buy from inscriptors or from the auction house. You kind of equip it, it's like a buff that will last a week, and you can pick one of the factions from BFA to kind of contract, and any world quest you do within BFA will give you a small amount of additional rep towards those contracted factions. So you could buy one for Rustbolt Resistance, for example, and every world quest you do will give you like 20 rep, I think it would be, with the bonus. So it soon adds up, so it's definitely worth having a contract on as well if you are going to be doing BFA world quests. So that brings us to the end of the video, and I thought it was a cool topic to talk about because it gives you something to do, you know, plenty of content to get on with over the next month, and you should be able to increase your mount collection in some way. Also, I've noticed that a growing trend of people who watch my channel aren't subscribed. Over 90% of the people who watch aren't subscribed, so I don't know what I've got to do to change your mind and click that sub button, but I would appreciate it. Outside of that, look out for more content coming soon, especially Shadowlands stuff. I'm going to be pumping out Shadowlands videos, and I also have an announcement coming very soon for mount collectors. It's going to be pretty cool. I think you're really going to like it, so look out for that as well. Outside of that, thanks for watching, guys. See ya.